I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's and then menopause, of course. And so going through all that, I was like, you know what? This is where I'm at. I really thought Hashimoto's was like a death sentence. I will never be able to lose weight. I won't ever be, this is just how I'm going to be buying bigger and bigger clothes every year. So in my first 5 weeks in, um, I had lost, I have lost like 11 and a half pounds.
Welcome back to the Becoming MindStrong podcast. My name is Rachel, and I'm the founder and CEO of MindStrong, where we have helped peri- and postmenopausal women not just lose the weight, but get healthy, keep it off for life for almost a decade now. Today, I'm going to be digging in deep with recent Ignite alum Cara. And what I love about Cara's story is, man, oh man, is it multifaceted. When Cara came to me, she said, Rachel, I have Hashimoto's. Now we're going to mix in menopause and the fact that I work midnight shifts. These are all the recipes, pun intended, for disaster. And the Cara you're going to hear from, she is dropping pounds left and right. Most importantly to me, it's a sustainable lifestyle. You're going to hear her talk quite a bit about going to events, going to parties, eating real foods like a normal human, and still losing the weight and taking control of her nutrition. So let's dive in. If you think back to pre-Ignite, Cara, can you tell us a little bit about rock bottom is a strong term, but what was that breaking point for you where you're like, I need to do something different, and you found us at Ignite?
Well, I was defeated for sure because I had tried every stupid social media supplement plan, you name it, I'd tried them all. And I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's and then menopause, of course. And so going through all that, I was like, you know what? This is where I'm at. Like, this is where it's going to be. It's, nothing I do makes a difference. I hear the same thing from my friends. This is just how it is. And then I was on social media, and I think it was Facebook, and your spiel came up, and I was like, all right, I'm in, I'll listen to this because you were nutritionally based. And that was important to me because I have no interest in any type of weight loss drugs whatsoever. I'm watching all the people around me. I work in a hospital. All the people around me shrink from their Ozempic and stuff. And I'm jealous in a way, but then in a way I'm like, that's not how I want to do this. I want to do this the way that does not require me to be addicted to something for the rest of my life. So anyways, I liked your presentation was excellent. I think it checked all the boxes of like all the things that have been frustrating for me, all the failures and all the things. And then saying at the end that, pretty soon you won't need me anymore. You'll be doing this on your own. I'm giving you the knowledge and stuff. And I was like, this is it. I mean, like, nutritional knowledge is what I want. I thought I knew what was good and good for me and what was, carbs are bad and protein's good and all the things that you've been taught over the years, So, yeah, so that's what got me hooked on you.
Yeah, and I love what you just said. Like, I love that you said out loud, I was a little jealous because it makes sense. Like, it's hard to
Yeah,
see people around us losing weight that quickly. And it's
yeah,
like, oh, the quick fix is right there. But
right
we
there.
tend to
Yep.
attract people who understand, like, the quick fix is not always the healthy fix. It's not
Yeah.
always the long-term fix. And I think it takes a strong kind of woman to be like, I am in this for the long haul. I need to put my health first. And that means not getting addicted to a drug I have to stay on forever that
Right.
we won't go down the rabbit hole of the lawsuits coming out now and all the
Oh
damage
yeah.
we're not
Yeah.
surprisingly learning it does.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
The fact that well, we could talk about that, a whole separate subject on that, but the fact that it eats all the tissues in your body, people are having blindness, they're having all this stuff. And the fact that you can't stop taking it. It's not something you can do, lose the weight and then be off it. It's forever. And I think we're gonna find out, right? We shoot first and ask questions later with some of these medications, and we're going to find out that they're very damaging. And I don't want to be a part of that. So I joined you.
I saw one of my favorite memes I've ever seen online said, going on Ozempic, not for weight loss, but for the class action suit that's sure to follow in a few years. And I thought that was hilarious.
That is actually, that is good. It's good and
Yeah.
sad, right? It's good.
Sadly funny.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So you get started in Ignite, and
Uh,
do you remember any initial moments? I like to call them aha moments where it's like, oh, this might actually be the thing that does it. Like those moments where it clicked and you saw that this could be something different than what you've done in the past.
Oh yeah, the first week I saw, and I was telling myself, all right, I'm not going to be scale dependent,
Mhm.
because the scale is a jerk, to be
Scale
honest.
is a jerk.
It's a big jerk. And so I wasn't going to be scale dependent. And I mean, the first week I was eating more than I ate before, but different kinds of foods.
Yeah.
And the scale was just, I mean, it was just dropping off like crazy in the first week. Now, I knew a lot of that was probably some inflammation and some fluid because my feet and ankles had been a little tight prior to that. And it just was like disappeared. So that was the big aha moment. And then the first time I noticed kind of a change in myself that wasn't scale related was I have a pair of snow pants that I went to go play with my dogs, and this was a while ago. I tried to wrestle these snow pants on. I'm like, I can't zip them, or I'm gonna blast these things out if I bend over. I mean, it was like everything I could do to get them up. So I grabbed the snow pants and put them on, and they zipped, and I was like, wait a minute. And they're not, falling off me or anything, but they were super comfortable. And I was like, okay, all right, there's definitely some change going around the belly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was one of mine. And just the fact that I could eat actual food. There was nothing that was off limits. And that was important. And I'll probably explain that in a later question. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's go down that rabbit hole now, because I
Yeah.
think to me,
Okay.
that's one of the most important parts, right? Especially when we work with women who have tried all the things out there. They come to us and they're like, well, what should I eat? And the answer
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
anything you want. Like, yeah, we're going to make nutritious choices, but that's the
Right.
reason this is sustainable is we're never going to tell you don't eat this, you have to eat
Right.
this. It's like, let's make nutritious choices. And what's your equivalent of Rachel's donuts, right? How do we fit that
Right.
in? So
Right.
tell me more about that experience of being able to eat real food.
Well, I'm what, six? I think this is my sixth week. So in my first 5 weeks in, um, I had lost, I say had lost, I have lost like 11 and a half pounds
Amazing.
in the first 5 weeks, which I thought was pretty decent. It came, like I said, a lot at first and then really slowed down as
Yeah.
it does. And then I, in that month or in that 5 weeks, I had eaten out 5 times. And that was for a church event that I have no control over what the food is. They just put it in front of you. So I had 5 eat outs, a women's night at church that was loaded with food and goodies, 2 birthday parties, of which I had a total of 3 cupcakes with frosting that I had made at those. um, and what was the other thing? I can't remember. Anyways, I found out looking back. Oh, I know. I learned how to make sourdough bread. So I was
Oh,
making bread and
yes.
biscuits and cookies and all the things. And I wasn't partaking of them like I would have normally. I tasted them and shared them with people and stuff, but I enjoyed the process. And looking back then, I was like, hot dog, I mean, I've done a lot of things that would be considered no-nos, I guess, on a regular diet. Like, oh, you can't go out to eat. Oh, you can't have a cupcake. You can't do this. And it was just normal life had happened and success had followed. And that was pretty rare. I
Yeah.
think rare for
Oh,
me anyway.
I think
Yeah.
rare for most people, right? Like we
Yeah.
associate diets with never going out to eat. God forbid you
Right.
you sniff a cupcake at a party, let alone like enjoy yourself, eat the cupcake, go out to eat. And it's
Right.
all up to like I just harp so much on a sustainable lifestyle because great, you lost 20 pounds on a diet, but if you're going to gain back 40 because it's not what your life actually looks like, what the heck
Yeah.
is the point?
Right. The mind part of the cupcake was I made them for my niece's birthday and it was good. I mean, it was a good cupcake. And I was like, and everybody was having like ice cream to go with their cupcake, and I was like, nope, I'm just cupcake because I could count it and it was easy,
Mm.
and it was really good. And I was like, my brain said, let's do that again. Like, let's have another one of those.
Yeah.
And I just was like, absolutely not. Like, what am I accomplishing? The first one was delicious. I'm basking in the glory of having a cupcake, and a second one is going to make me feel sick and is going to make me feel defeated or yep, I'm back to my old ways.
Yeah.
So that was a big brain moment, I guess, where I was just like, whew, you know, this is the moderation people talk about.
Here
Enjoy
it is.
it. Here it
And
is.
And that's not a coincidence. Like that
Yeah.
again, like when we think about diet culture, you've probably heard me use this analogy a million times, but I always tell people, don't think about a blue elephant. Like that's all our brain wants to go to. So when
Yeah.
we say cupcakes are bad, we can't have cupcakes. Of course, when you have a cupcake, you eat six cupcakes because you've been trying to live off restriction. And there's just a beauty and a power to like, no, I can have this cupcake. I can fit it into my plan. I didn't cheat.
Yeah.
I didn't splurge. And it's like, do I want another one? Power of choice. No, I
Yeah.
don't think I do.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And
No,
it's
it was super enjoyable. I'm glad I didn't regret it. I didn't have blame. I didn't have, I think even the next day I saw like success on the scale and I was like, okay.
That's
If
amazing.
this is what nutrition can do for me in a way that I've never known, I am 100% here for it. So,
Sign me up. I love that.
right. Right.
I'm going to ask you a tough question. I heard you say earlier that before joining Ignite, you used the word defeated, that you
Yeah.
were feeling defeated. Now, 6 weeks in, so we're only halfway through the 12-week program. If
Yeah.
you had to put a word to how you're feeling, if it was defeated, what is your current halfway point word of how you're feeling?
Well, you nail it in your speech you give. It's hopeful. I
Mm,
mean, so much hope. Now hope and also excited. I'm excited for summer. I'm excited for the next vacation I get to go on. I'm excited to not only put, what I know into practice when I'm not necessarily on the plan, but also excited to see, how I feel in a bathing suit this summer.
yeah.
I love your analogy about the money where you
Mm,
say you're going to give people, I'm going to give you this money, but it's not going to come for 6 months or it's not going to come for a year, but it's there and you got to keep your eyes on the prize, so to speak, right?
yeah.
And so I think one of the things that diet culture really messes with our heads is telling us, oh, in 6 weeks you can have, in 4 weeks, in 1 week, and you can do this, and there's always a time on there that makes it very unrealistic, like super unrealistic. But man, does that stick in our head? It's like the Ozempic thing, right? Like, ooh,
Yeah.
I know if I just give myself a shot a week and try not to throw up, I I can I can be 30 pounds less by August or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I love the idea of real food. My daughter wanted to be a nutritionist. She's super healthy and is always picking apart what everybody eats in a way that is good. But she's also a treat eater. She loves her treats, but she knows, at 22 years old, she balances that so well for her
Mm.
age that I just think that's important. And then she's learning from me through this as well. So yeah.
Real quickly, before we keep going in this episode, we are talking a lot about metabolisms in menopause in today's episode. So I want to offer you a chance to deepen your knowledge. If you haven't yet checked out my free workshop, How to Fire Up Your Metabolism in Menopause and Beyond, it is one of my go-to favorite pieces of content that I have out here in the interwebs. You can use the link in the show notes below or go to mindstrongfitness.com and you'll get a cute little pop-up that'll get you straight into the workshop. Now, let's get back to the show. That last statement to me, like that is the holy grail, right? I always say people always talk about generational wealth, and it's like let's talk about generational health, because when
Absolutely.
your kids get to see you being like, yeah, I had a donut, like I didn't beat my, or I had a cupcake, let's say, like I didn't beat myself up, I didn't have
Right.
to have three of them, like I just fit it in my plan, I move on with my day. What a
Right.
difference to what most of us grew up with of like, I had a cupcake. I need to go run on the treadmill, the shame, blame, guilt. And
Yeah.
even if our parents tried to hide that from us, and not shaming parents, it's a generational thing. But
Yeah.
we pick that up and we get
Right.
to pass this on to our kids now, this new healed relationship with food.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. I agree.
All right, here's my last question, my favorite question for you. I want to
Okay.
put you in the coach's chair for a second. Okay.
Okay.
I want you to pretend that instead of Rachel, founder of MindStrong on this side of the Zoom, I am someone just like you before you joined Ignite. So I feel like I've tried everything out there. I'm watching people around me do Ozempic. I'm feeling defeated, like nothing's going to work. Maybe I just need to accept this stage of life. What do you, Coach Cara, say to nervous, tentative, skeptical, nothing's going to work for me, Rachel?
Advice that I
Yeah,
would give you.
yeah.
Um, I would give you the advice that however long you're blessed to be on this earth, you're going to have to eat,
Mm,
right? Because that's what keeps us alive. So we can choose to do it the way that is correct, that we've never been taught necessarily. You when you're a little kid, fruits, vegetables, eat them all. But you don't understand the fact that sometimes fruits and vegetables don't taste as good as the cupcakes that the classroom gives, and that kind of thing. But it is a forever thing. It's the rest of your life. And for my purposes, I didn't start this just because I was a chubby bunkin. I started it because I was in pain. Like my body hurt. Like I was tired. I'm getting off topic a little bit, but I work a really weird shift. I work a midnights, and I work 6 midnights in a row, and then I get 8 off. So my sleep is all over the place, and that's a struggle with this too. And that's one of the things that I figured out, a few tracking things that Martina and I have talked about. That worked better for midnights, and she was always looking for something that would help like midnight people. So anyways, I would say it's forever. Nutrition is forever, and you might as well make the good choices. Again, I work in a hospital. I watch people daily who have made horrible choices their whole life, whether it's smoking, drinking, or overindulging in food, and I see firsthand everything, all the struggles that they're going through and the health problems that they've accumulated that didn't need to, the ones that you can control. There's a lot that we can't. And that is motivating for me too, because I just think I can't, I don't have to be there. I don't have to be that person. I really thought Hashimoto's was like a death sentence. I was like, yep, that's it. I'll never be able to lose weight. Whoops. Hi. I will never be able to lose weight. I won't ever be, this is just how I'm going to be, buying bigger and bigger clothes every year. And that is not true whatsoever. Yeah.
You have no idea how many women come to us with Hashimoto's and say, will this work for me? Because I have Hashimoto's, and I just want to take exactly what you just said and like blast it from the speakers.
Yeah. Yep. It's definitely functional. Oh, here's another, I got to give you another victory. This one, Martina doesn't even know yet.
Uh-oh.
So I've been having a little, the scale's been doing its thing, because I've been on midnights, and on midnights, for some reason, the scale always goes up. And I know it does, because it did that pre-MindStrong. It's just how it is. And then it goes back to normal during my week off, and it's all over the place. So I was feeling, like my clothes, like the snow pants and a few things that are feeling better. I know that there's change, but I just, we're only 5 weeks in. The mentality is still like, boy. And I got out this notebook that I used to, with all the different fun diets and things I've done, I did body measurements, right? And starting into this, I was like, I'm not doing that. I don't care. It's either going to be the scale or my clothes, or I just don't care. I'm not going to take pre-pictures, none of that crap.
Yeah.
So I whipped the tape measure out, and this is just before meeting with you this evening. And I started measuring the spots, and I went back to a time when I weighed about the same, and I was like measuring, and I was like, oh, same. And I get down to like the middle of my body. I'm like, okay, well, that's a little smaller. And I'm like, I get down to my abdomen. I'm like, okay, there's an 1.5 inch difference there. And I get down to my hips. I'm like, that's an inch. And I get down to my calves, and I was like, and I'm like, this is like, I think there's what do they call that when your composition, like compositional changes that are really hard to, well, the scale certainly doesn't care about you or your compositional changes. So that was helpful. That was like an extra boost, of saying, okay, don't get, back, don't roll back into your old ways of thinking, because that is the success. And sticking to it, I don't think, honestly, I've ever stuck to anything more than 2 months before I just like threw the towel in, because there was no change. And I thought, if there's no change, and I've seen change consistently, albeit more in the beginning, slowing down now, but we're going to make some more changes with my macros and see if we can kick her in gear. And I'm trying to get my butt more active. I had some back issues that I was going to physical therapy for. So trying to get that part going again. There's just a lot of little things that I know that I need to do. It's not going to be just, a miracle that falls from the sky. So, yeah. That's my long answer.
I love that. I love that you're looking for the ways to track, because we preach this till we're blue in the face, but it's so easy to say and so hard to do, that just using the scale, nobody would stick with this journey, because what you're describing is the path. Like, some people, it's slow, so fast some people it's fast in the beginning and then it always, always, always slows down. And especially if that only measure of success is the scale, like none of us would stay the
Yeah.
course. So
Yeah.
taking those measurements, trying on clothes, like that is not just something we say to make ourselves feel better. Like I don't
Right.
even own it. I haven't owned a scale for 7 years because I'm like, I know how my clothes are fitting. I know what my
Yeah.
measurements feel like when I'm feeling good. And
Yeah.
all the scale is going to do is mess with my brain. So why
Yes.
bother? Like it is a
Right.
very true statement, not just like throwing glitter on it to make ourselves feel good.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Uh,
The scale is a jerk. And I try to not let it get to me, but at the same time, it's just like, ugh. And I want to use it as data.
yeah.
You said in the beginning, just use it as data. Don't, take it to heart. And it's like, ugh, but
Easier
still,
said than done, Rachel.
it's something that's been in our brains for so long, our whole life. And I've always been a bigger girl. Like I
Mm.
don't expect to get to be, a size 3 anytime ever. I think I was a size 3 when I was 3-ish,
That's fair. Yeah.
and and so I've always been a thicker chick, which is fine. That's my build. That's my familial build. But the body aches, the joint pains, the horrible sleep, the food craving, the hungriness that you can't feed, like no matter what you put in you, you're just still hungry. All those things are going away, and that's, to me, that is success in itself.
That's incredible. In 6 weeks. I think that's my favorite
Yeah,
part of this story is that you are 6 weeks in. Like we're gonna double that in the time that you have left.
yeah,
And then this is, I mean, the 12 weeks is not Rachel's 12-week diet. It's here's the
right,
tools. So
right,
you're still in the learning phase and getting
right.
these kind of results. That's incredible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
Cara, from the bottom of my soul, I mean it. Like we're just gonna blast I thought the Hashimoto's was a death sentence because so many women feel like that. And
Yeah,
hearing the success that you're having, like putting the weight loss aside, but the inflammation, the pain, knowing your work schedule, how flexible you've been able
yeah,
to make this
yeah.
work, like it is gonna inspire so many women.
Yeah. Well, I encourage anybody who works midnight shifts, who is struggling to reach. I mean, Martina already put me in touch with one gal that we could talk about
Mm,
different, ways to do things. And, I would get to the hospital, I would take one meal. Well, I'm there for 12 and a half hours.
yeah.
From 6 o'clock at night till 7:30 in the morning, or I'm sorry, 7 at night to 7:30 in the morning. And so in that time, I would get up, and I was never a breakfast either. That's something I'm trying to change too. And I would think I needed to take at least, if I didn't eat at home, I would need to pack at least 2 meals, to get through that. Well, I would pack measly stuff and then I would get to work and I would be so hungry that I would like to chew my own arm off my body. And the only thing that you can find in a hospital is carbohydrates at night. There's chips, there's crackers, there's, junk. And so sometimes I'd be like, okay, I am so hungry. I just need something. So I'd just eat like graham crackers. Well, what does that do? It makes you 4 times hungrier in
Yep.
about 30 minutes.
Yep.
And now I'm like, duh. So one of the things I've done is packed so much food. Like I take a ridiculous amount of food with me, but at least I have options. Like at the end of the day, I was always like, okay, well, I need, 40 more grams of protein. What am I going to do? So I bought the clear protein powder, which is miracle. I mean, it goes in everything. You can put it in coffee, you can put it in jello, you can do anything. And I will just raw dog coconut oil, because I'm like, I need my fats. But when I was at work, I didn't have those little like things where I could, fine tune. So I had to just like haul. I mean, I haul stuff to work like I'm gonna go in there to live. I just take everything. But at least I have the options to the night and can make the choices and feel good and eat and feel satisfied, which is huge. The satiation without feeling stuffed, without feeling 4 times hungrier after you eat, which I never understood that about myself, but I guess that was because of what I was eating.
Yeah.
And just being able to just to be free again. And
Mm,
I love the planning part. Like I really hate, like, you think counting calories
mhm.
and tracking food is like, I'm so tired of this. It's actually in this case because I'm not just writing down or tracking what I'm eating. I'm paying attention to what's in what I'm eating,
Yeah.
is making it more fun for me. Like,
Mhm.
because I'm learning something new, and I'm like at the age where I'm like, your brain needs as much stimulation as possible to keep it from shriveling up into a raisin. And So I think that knowledge is power as well.
Yeah, it's so funny because that's what listening to you talk in my mind, I was thinking like, wow, listen to the education piece of this. Just
Yeah.
talking about the food you're bringing to work because when I need protein, I go to this. When I need fat, I go to this. Like these are things that when you're in this mind strong world, we start taking it for granted because we just speak this language. But when you think back to how out of control nutrition has felt for so long for so many of us, to be able to
Right.
be like, well, let me pack X, Y, and Z so I have choices because I need A, B, and C. Like
Right.
that to me,
Yeah.
that's the keys to the kingdom because that's putting
Sure.
you in control with that education.
Yeah, I used to grab whatever was like, well, I open the fridge, I'm like, all right, what do we have for dinner last night? Oh, there's some of that left, you know.
Yeah.
There's, junk, the fast junk, like the granola bar or even now I try to stay away from um protein supplements. I do have to do the powder quite a bit because of just sometimes I get to the end of the day and I just need to,
Yeah.
I got to get my protein bump in there. And but the bars and stuff. I mean, again, an apple. If I eat an apple by itself, I will be so hungry. I will be 4 times hungrier than I will. And I'm like, what is the deal? But if I had to eat like an apple with a little bit of peanut butter or with a little bit of cheese, I learned that long before. Is that helped me.
Yeah.
If I eat late at night before bed, I wake up again just ravenous.
Mm.
Where if I leave myself alone, I don't need to eat before bed. I'm not gonna die in the night from starving. That I wake up feeling better in the morning. I mean, there's a lot of little things over the. I know that carbs are good for you. The kind of carbs I was partaking in, probably not. And they really, the effect they have on your body, the wrong kind of carbs. Oh man. I mean, and we can feel, if you can feel it day to day, imagine what it's doing to your long term,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So,
I love what you said a few minutes ago of, we're going to eat every day anyway. So why the
yeah.
heck would we not just carve a little bit of time out to understand how nutrition works? And then that's it.
Amen.
Like this doesn't have to be the rest of your life. You don't have to track the rest of your life, but like exactly how you're talking, like listen to how you've mastered a skill. And is that worth 6, 12 weeks of worth to have
Oh,
that for the rest of your life? Like
absolutely.
to me, it's the biggest no-brainer, but
Absolutely.
I'm biased.
Right, right. Yeah. Oh, in that time frame I was talking about, I actually went out to lunch with one of my friends too. I didn't even have that in my thing. Went out to lunch and chose a fajita chicken salad, with chicken and like corn and beans and all the things on it, and was able to. I ate that whole thing and felt great, and still, again, success still followed. And so it's not like you're ever backing yourself into a corner of cans. Can't do that. Can't do that. Can't. I can't eat that. I can't have this. But at least I could choose. The church event, it's a marriage seminar. You just sit down at your table with your husband and they just serve you food. You don't get to choose. And I'm telling you, some of those meals put me, woohoo, like my graph would be, and I'm trying to guess how many, I'm like, well, this is probably this. And it would always, my Tuesdays would just be absolutely shot right in the butt. And I would say to Martina, I'm like, I can't choose what I get to eat on those days. And I don't want to not enjoy it, right? I don't want to not be a part of it. And I don't want to feel guilty or say I can't have it or whatever. So I just did it. And then all the other days fell into line really well. And yeah, so the perfection factor, that taught me that that's not necessary on an everyday basis. It definitely needs to be more common than that. But yeah, not every day. Oh, I
Yep,
thought my
it
puppy
is.
was coming to see you.
Oh.
I know you like dogs.
It is never, and this is something I believe strongly in. Like I would always rather people do this 75, 80% than 100%. Because
Yeah.
back in the day when I was one-to-one coaching, I'd have members show up for our calls and be like, I hit my macros perfectly 7 days a week. And I'd make them angry because I'm like, good, your assignment next week is you have to not track one day. And they're like, clutch my pearls. Like, what? And it's for the reason you're
Oh
saying, like,
no.
live life. The point, nutrition is a vehicle to live a life where you're pain free and have energy.
Yeah.
So there's no world in which you should be opting out of your church event because you can't eat
Yeah.
the food they're providing. Like if
Right.
option A is the old method of shame, blame, guilt, feeling terrible all the time, and option B is we do the best we can, we hit our macros most of the time, and we still live life. I mean, you're a walking testament to this. Like you're
Yeah.
seeing results, you're changing your life, and it's never going to be perfect and it shouldn't be perfect.
Right. Yep. Perfectly well said. You know better than anyone. Yeah. No, I love all your little podcasts, all your speeches and talks and lunch and learns and all the things. I always glean some, bit of something, whether it's extra encouragement or hope or just knowledge that I hadn't heard before off from those. And I love it because the people that you have coming on talking are talking straight from the heart. I mean, it is what it is. They're not trying to get you to buy something. They're not trying to convince you of something that may or may not be true for your body.
Yep.
It's just it's facts, right?
Yeah.
It's the science, it's the nutrition, and I love that. So
Yeah,
thank you very
that's
much.
why I love doing these interviews too, because like
Yeah.
your story is going to relate to people with Hashimoto's, with people who work weird shifts at night, people who work in hospitals, whereas someone else's story is going to resonate on a different level. And like we
Yeah.
just need to hear from other people, like, oh, if she can make this work with her lifestyle, maybe I can too.
Yeah.
And it comes back to your new word, hope, right? Like we are not broken. We just need a method that works in menopause and a method that's actually sustainable, not one size fits all cookie cutter.
Absolutely. 100%.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Cara. This was absolutely fantastic. I
You're
appreciate you.
welcome. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it too.